Joining me now, the senior senator from Ohio, Sherrod Brown, who has a lot of issues on the plate before they go into the Christmas break in Congress. Joining us now from Washington, D.C. Senator, right now we do not have a farm bill. If you're not a farmer, if you're not an Ohio farmer, why should I care about there being no farm bill right now?
Well, people should care about the farm bill for a couple of reasons. We do it every 5 years. It's always bipartisan. It's generally served Ohio well, the Ohio economy. It's a jobs bill. It's a nutrition bill. It's a energy conservation bill. It's a rural development bill. 1 out of 7 jobs in Ohio is connected to food and agriculture. This bill matters for disabled people and seniors and kids because it's the food stamp bill too. And we know that with the number of low-income workers and disabled people and seniors and kids, most of the food stamps in the state go to those people that most need it like that. So all of that's part of the farm bill. We're going to get an agreement, I hope, this week. I asked the House representatives who was going home early for Christmas, they should stay and work. They should stay in Washington, get the farm bill done so that next year farmers and other people in agriculture can plan and can know with some predictability what's going to happen as they run their businesses, their farm businesses and their agriculture businesses, if you will, in the months ahead.
Senator, you mentioned food stamps. Nearly 1 out of 5 residents of Hamilton County is on food stamps right now, and they're looking at a possible $40 billion plus cut on the other side of the aisle to get the farm bill passed. Is that something that concerns you? Because that would mean literally taking food out of the mouths of your constituents?
Yeah, there was no way we will accept that kind of cut to food stamps. You know, I look at a lot of my colleagues, well-dressed, well-paid, health insurance provided by taxpayers. Some of them themselves get farm subsidies that they really shouldn't be getting, I don't think. I mean, they're legal, but they shouldn't be getting them. And then they turn around and cut food stamps. And I mean, people that get along on food stamps are more often than not, they're seniors, they're disabled people, they're children, often of sons and daughters of people who are low-income workers. I mean, there are bank tellers, there are Walmart workers, there are fast food workers that are making $7 and $8 and $9 and $10 an hour and simply can't make it without some assistance with food stamps. And for a bunch of well-paid politicians in Washington, slick politicians in Washington, to cut food stamps is just it's just immoral in my mind.
And obviously that's part of the farm bill. So is the price of milk to a degree, because if this farm bill does not take effect sometime in January, that would trigger that old 1940s federal law that essentially would force the federal government to buy milk at extremely inflated prices. And they're saying that could mean $7 milk here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that would just be inexcusable. The fact is that we are very close to an agreement on the farm bill. I just spoke again with the chairwoman of the Senate Agriculture Committee. I speak to the ranking Republican on the committee. We're close to an agreement. Unfortunately, the House of Representatives has decided it wants to take an early Christmas, go home the end of this week, today or tomorrow or Saturday morning. They need to come back or stay here or come back and join the Senate in session next week and pass this farm bill. I don't want to kick it over till January. We're not going to let milk prices go up. But if there's continued either dereliction of duty, which is what the House is doing or not doing, or if there's continued just disagreement, and I think we can have agreement, that's a potential thing to happen in late January. We can't let that happen. We can't let the price of milk go to $7 or $8. Nobody understands why it would be that. It's inexcusable when it's a staple for darn near all of us in this country to buy milk that's you know, depending on if you're buying a half gallon or a gallon, $3 or $4 a gallon or a half gallon, and so or $5. So to let it go to $7 or $8 is just inexcusable.
Senator, let's move on for a moment to the unprecedented, at least recently unprecedented, bipartisan budget deal that is being worked out. Where do you stand? Is that something you plan to vote for to avoid a future government shutdown?
I appreciate, first of all, those who shut the government down last time, saying they won't do it again. They've come to the table. The Tea Party has lived up to what it said and worked on this budget. And we've got a bipartisan budget. I generally agree with it. It will mean more economic growth because it will not have the sharp cuts in NIH that hurt Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. or the sharp cuts to defense spending that would affect GE and Wright-Patt and many other things. The problem that I still have with this bill is it does not extend unemployment insurance to the 128,000 Ohioans who have lost jobs, who are looking for jobs, and to take away their unemployment insurance in the Christmas season or any other time, frankly, is not good, obviously, for those families, nor is it good for our economy, because those people that are receiving unemployment insurance, they paid into the insurance when they were working. They're now taking money out because it's insurance. They spend that money. They spend it at a grocery store in Norwood. They spend it at a mechanic shop, a place getting their car fixed in Anderson Township. They're spending it at the hardware store in Harrison or Delhi Township, and that's helping the local economy at the same way it's helping those families.
You mentioned those NIH cuts and also the cuts to defense spending that affect GE. Those are all part of the sequester, which obviously was supposed to be so draconian no one would let it happen, and then it happened. Now your colleague both across the aisle in the Senate and also across the Ohio River, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, saying he actually thinks the sequester has been a success. Does that, not bode well perhaps for this passing in the Senate?
I don't know what exactly Senator McConnell thinks about this, but I do know that because of the sequester, we've seen job layoffs. We've seen, not just in the defense industry, but we've seen less money in communities, and small businesses have been hurt. I mean, the people that shut the government down, the people that got us up close to the debt ceiling, up close to failing to pay the bills that the United States government, the United States of America have done damage to this economy. That's why we've had this slow growth. If we eliminate half the sequester, which is what this budget deal does, the economists are agreeing pretty much across the board that we'll see about 1/4 to 1/2% increased growth that we wouldn't have otherwise. That tells me that the sequester has failed, and fixing it will mean better economic times, more people with jobs, and better long-term economic growth.
Finally, Senator, it sounds like you're leaning toward voting for this budget deal as it stands, but you're holding back on saying, yes, I'm definitely going to vote for it because you're trying to get those unemployment benefits.
Yeah, I have said to the leader of the majority leader of the Senate and a number of other people, we're working on how do we get a real commitment that unemployment insurance is fixed, that it just makes no sense to take unemployment insurance. If the economy were good, that's one thing, but when people can't find jobs, 128,000 people in this state, probably 25,000, 30,000 people in Hamilton and Claremont and Butler, in Warren counties and Clinton counties in Southwest Ohio, 25, 30,000 people can't find jobs. We're going to take their unemployment compensation away. What are they supposed to do as the same people are trying to cut food stamps? What are they supposed to do to get through the winter months?
Sounds like you have a lot of work ahead of you. Senator Sherrod Brown, thanks for joining us from the nation's capital.